Welcome to the Bacon Academy Student News. Coming up on today's show, report cards are coming, the presidential election is tomorrow, and what's cooler than a thought-controlled leg? Climbing a skyscraper with it. All that and more coming up now.
Good morning, Bacon Academy. Today is Monday, November 5th, 2012. I'm Matt McAllister.
And I'm Bernie Dennler. In school news, the Bacon Academy football team was defeated by Ledyard on Friday, 47-7. The only touchdown that the Bobcats scored was a reception from freshman Sean Kelly to Dan Narlock. The Bobcats' next game will be at Woodstock at 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Report cards will be issued November 8th instead of November 5th as originally planned. The move is a response to the 3 days of school missed after Hurricane Sandy left much of the town without power last week.
In national news, the death toll of Hurricane Sandy has continued to rise, now estimated to be at least 110. Efforts to restore power across states hit have continued, and life has seemingly returned to normal in most areas. The subway system is operating close to normal again in New York City, but 2 million people remain without power across the East Coast, and another storm may soon ravage the area. A nor'easter with the potential for heavy rain and snow, as well as 50-mile-per-hour gusts of wind, is expected to hit the region midweek.
Less than 24 hours remain until the 2012 presidential election. While early voting has taken place in many states for the past few weeks, polls officially open tomorrow. Informal polls have shown a dead heat between Barack Obama and Mitt Romney, with nearly all national polls reporting ties or leads for either candidate easily within a margin of error. Leads in individual state polls, however, have given the president an estimated lead in prospective electoral votes, which will ultimately determine the outcome of the election. With 538 electoral votes available, either candidate must secure at least 270 to win.
With the popular vote expected to be so close, but with the president holding a much wider lead in the Electoral College predictions, political analysts have begun to raise the possibility of a situation similar to 2000, when Al Gore won the popular vote, but George Bush received the majority of electoral votes. It is conceivable that Mitt Romney could win the popular vote and still lose the election. The worst-case scenario for either candidate, however, would be a 269-269 Electoral College tie. In this situation, the House of Representatives would vote to elect the president, and the Senate would vote to elect the vice president. Given the current political divide between the congressional houses, the United States would almost certainly end up with an equally divided executive branch, with Mitt Romney as president and Joe Biden as vice president.
Ali Ani al-Harzai, a suspect in the U.S. consulate attack in Benghazi, Libya, will be questioned by the FBI in the coming days, according to a U.S. government official with direct knowledge of the investigation. He has been noticed when he posted details of the attack on a social media website when the attack was occurring. Al-Harzai is currently being held in Tunisia, where the government officials are prepared for questioning.
Mourners have gathered at a helicopter crash that killed 2 police officers in Atlanta, Georgia. 48-year-old pilot Richard J. Halford and 40-year-old Sean A. Smiley were in search of a runaway child when their aircraft struck a power pole and plummeted to the ground. Fortunately, no one on the ground was injured, and the 9-year-old boy was eventually found.
A 2-year-old boy was killed by a pack of wild dogs at the Pittsburgh Zoo on Sunday morning. The boy fell in after being picked up by his mother and placed on the railing of an 11-foot-high observation deck. It is still unclear whether the 11 dogs or the fall was the cause of death. This is the first death of a child at an accredited zoo in over 40 years.
Turning to world news, a 5-bomb explosion killed 2 people and injured a third in Bahrain's capital city of Manama today. The homemade explosives were detonated outside a cinema in Qudaiba and the Adliya districts of the capital city. The bombing was a rare incident in that it targeted civilians in order to send a deliberate message to the U.S.-backed rulers who recently banned all rallies and opposition gatherings to ensure public safety.
The Syrian army bombarded rebel strongholds in southern Damascus hours after opposition fighters attacked a militia loyal to President Bashar al-Assad. At least 8 people were killed during the attack after 20 people had been killed by army shelling overnight. The Sunni Muslim neighborhoods have been involved in a 19-month-long revolt against Assad, whose all-white faith derives from Shia Islam.
Hundreds of Ukrainians rallied in Kiev to protest alleged voting fraud in the October 28th parliamentary election. Opposition parties claim that the vote was rigged by President Viktor Yanukovych's ruling party, the Party of Regions. The opposition threatened to boycott the new parliament and called for a revote in disputed districts. Western observers fear that this is a step back from democracy in the Ukraine.
Finally, Zach Vaughter, a man with a computerized prosthetic leg, climbed the 103 floors of Chicago's Willis Tower, becoming the first person to ever do so with a bionic limb. Vaughter, who lost his leg in a motorcycle accident, displayed his new limb at a charity stair climbing event hosted by the Rehabilitation Institute of Chicago, where he is receiving treatment. This feat is proof of major technological advancements associated with thought-controlled prosthetics.
That's all for today. I'm Bernie Dennler.
And I'm Matt McAllister. Join us again Wednesday for more school, national, and world news, and for Tuesday's election results.
And remember, you can catch us online too at youtube.com/BA Student News.